All right, guys, Pixel 4 honest review. It's been a very long time since I've done a cell phone review, but I'm going to keep this one short and sweet and to the point. Everything that I love, everything that I hate about the new Google Pixel 4. So stay tuned. So jumping right into the hardware and the sort of fit and finish of the phone, Google's really, in my opinion, done a really well design on this guy here. It's super thin. The matte back finish on the orange and the white is really attractive. You can see there's hardly any fingerprints on here. You can see if you hold it in the glare, a little bit of kind of messy fingerprints on there and kind of residue. But in general, it's really comfortable to feel. It's really comfortable to hold, super thin. If you're a one-handed phone user like myself, very, very comfortable in one hand. Nothing beats the size of this, in my opinion. Everything's too big. Galaxy, iPhone, they're all too big for one-handed use. Google really hits a sweet spot here with the Pixel 4. Other things about the heart, or sort of the outside of the phone that's noticeable: square camera bulge, just like the iPhone 11, probably a copy of Apple if you ask me. Matte colored around the side here with an accent color for the power button. USB-C charging, no headphone jack, dual speakers top and bottom, waterproof rated, SIM card slot, volume and power on the same side, which I'm not a huge fan of. I do like a separated volume and power button, but in general, I do like the fit and finish of the phone. You can see that it does have a rather big forehead and a rather big chin down here, something they really couldn't get away with all the sensors they have up here for motion sense and other parts of the phone, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But it is a rather basic looking phone aside from the matte back. Otherwise, in my opinion, very attractive to hold on to, very easy to use with one hand, very nice and thin. So it's a winner for me in terms of the design. All right, so what I'm gonna do with this phone is to talk about the things that I don't like and then talk about the things that I do like and then kind of sum it up at the end here. So I'll start off with the things that I do like. The phone is ridiculously fast to unlock. And so if you take this from totally off, I'm just gonna poke my face around the outside of the camera, hit the power button, and then boop, it's that fast. Like, it is almost instantaneous. And so if you have any worry of whether or not you're gonna miss the fingerprint reader, or if you have regrets over the face unlock, it is so lightning fast that it is a joy to use. It makes this probably the best phone out there in terms of how fast you can get it from off in your pocket to unlocked in your hand and usable. I mean, it is lightning quick, boom, every time. No misfires, no missing sort of unlocks. Super, super fast and reliable. Absolute pleasure to use. That's the number one thing I like about the phone. Number two thing I like about the phone is the speed and the fluidity of the sort of 90 hertz screen. Nice and smooth. All the apps transition really smooth. Everything opens really smoothly. All the scrolling is real smooth. The software, you can tell it's running Android 10, has been really dialed in terms of how fast it is, how efficient it is, and how great it is to multitask. Android has really, really won, I think, the sort of software battle here compared to Apple with how you can integrate apps into an OS, how you can choose default apps into an OS, really how you can multitask and use a phone properly. The way iPhone does it to me is a less intuitive, less user-friendly system for software. So I really do like how Android works in terms of its software now. But, you know, in 2020, 2019, they've got it dialed in. The screen is also really great on this phone. Very, very vivid, very colorful, very, very friendly on the eyes. You've got a lot of settings in here to change at bedtime and in night mode where you can kind of take a break from the colors and be able to sleep a little more straightforward and easy. But the quality of the screen is really outstanding, and the color accuracy and color saturation is really great. I've really enjoyed using the device and the vivid colors on there. The third thing that I like about the phone is the camera, and this is really intrinsic to all Google phones in general. I'm just going to snap a little picture here off camera, and you can look at some of the detail here. But the camera is so good in this phone that, you know, it's very, very similar to the Pixel 3 and the prior Pixel in terms of its quality and ease of use. I know there are some reviews that say the new iPhone 11 camera might be a hair better or might be certainly better on video. The camera itself, not in the video mode, just for photography, is outstanding, and I really do enjoy it. They've got two different lenses here, a normal and a telephoto, so you can switch between the two when you are using it. So you've got an option to zoom, which is great. You can kind of see it down here from 1x all the way up to 8x. It does not include the ultra wide camera like you do see on the iPhone. The iPhone has 3 lenses, the Google one only has 2. I still really enjoy the camera. I think it's a great asset to the phone. The fourth and final thing that I really enjoy about the phone is the sound quality of the built-in speakers. It's really quite good if you're listening to music on your device as opposed to headphones or a remote speaker. If you're playing Spotify or Google Play Music on this thing, it really does sound pretty good straight out of the phone. I think they did a nice job on the sound engineering. So now let's move into the stuff that I don't like about the phone. Number one, the most glaring thing that everybody's talked about is the minuscule, tiny, teeny, ridiculously small battery they crammed into this thing. I want to say the spec is like 2,800 milliamp hours. By far not nearly big enough, guys. It is a deal breaker. The battery is so bad that you cannot even get a full day of use out of this thing if you have all the stuff turned on. You see that I have the all-time display turned off. I have the motion sense turned off. I have basically all the features that they've crammed into this thing turned off, only to be able to get a full day's worth of battery on this thing. And so while I think that some of those things are gimmicky, like the motion sense and always on display, and it's not necessary to operate the phone, it does make the phone more fun to use. And why upgrade a device if you can't use all the features that they put in there because the freaking battery is too small? So by turning off all those things, I can get a full day's worth of use on this. But is that annoying? Yes. Should that be a deal breaker? Yes. Should Google fix that? Yes. Are they going to? I don't know. They might rewrite some of the software in an Android update to kind of better optimize their battery, but they really need to do something because this phone, as is out of the box, is terrible. It's practically unusable. Like I said, I was getting about 2.5 hours of screen time on this thing. And then after an 8-hour day, it was down to 0 and I had to recharge it. So it was just bad. That's the first and most glaring thing about the phone that I don't like. The second thing that I don't really like is the layout. Even though I like the screen and the screen quality is good, the style of the screen kind of bothers me. You know, I dig the little cutouts that Apple does. I dig the little holes that like Samsung and you know, some of the other manufacturers have to kind of get creative with their screen. This is very plain, and while it doesn't bother me in like from a utility standpoint, from an aesthetic standpoint, it kind of makes me like crave something a little bit more new or more futuristic. The other thing that I don't really like about the phone is it is a little bit slippery. You know, I tend not to use a case with stuff. And so this matte side is a little slick. I would say it's not as bad as like the glossy iPhones, but maybe somebody needs to develop like a rubberized kind of trim or something that's just got a little texture to it that you can grab easier. And so I feel like this is going to slide out of your hand real easy and come crashing on the ground. You know, it still is nice that you can hold the phone with one hand, but when you're taking it out of your pocket and stuff, it's going to make it a little harder to grab onto and maybe more prone to slip away. The other thing I don't like about the phone is the motion sense sort of change songs with a wave. I think it's a gimmick, guys. I mean, I really don't ever see a need for that. I mean, maybe if I'm like a chef and I'm in a kitchen, or like, you know, I have a need to like wave at my phone. I mean, it's very Samsung-y, and to kind of cram things in there that no one's really going to use. I mean, yes, there are need cases for it. Yes, people will use it, but like, really, are you going to use that? No, you're going to grab the phone into your pocket. You're going to grab it off your desk and do something with it. You know, I don't know. I mean, it's a good try, and I think Google has to do something, but I just don't really find that it's that useful, and I don't like it. All right, so wrapping this up, where does that leave us? So $799 unlocked in the United States. We're going to compare that to the Apple iPhone 11. If you wanted to most likely compare it to the 11 Pro, it's kind of a difference of, you know, $200. Well, that's not true, about $100 for the Pro over this guy. And you are getting a better camera system and iOS, which is sort of negligible in terms of its difference. But to me, right now, the biggest benefit to the iPhone 11 Pro over the Pixel is going to be the battery life and the camera system. So I'm filming this in 40K, 60 frames a second on the iPhone 11 Pro, which you can't do on this guy. And guess what? I'm going to have an all-day battery life. So for me, right now, Apple wins with its iPhone compared to the Pixel 4. But what I'm hoping for is that this bad boy drops in price either around Black Friday, or Google decides to put it on sale and get it into a more reasonable price and fixes the software. And then that will make it a much more approachable, much more beneficial phone for people. At my heart, I really, really enjoy Android more than iOS. I really like how Google integrates with everything, and I really like how Google is as an operating system. And I really think that they have the software designed better than Apple. But like I said earlier, the battery life and the camera on the iPhone really outdo the Google Pixel 4 this time around. And so for me, I'm not going to keep this phone. I'm going to actually sell it and get rid of it. And it's going to be an iPhone 11 for me, an iPhone 11 Pro for now. It's not to say that this isn't a good product. Just be very aware of the battery life and be very aware of the price and exactly what you're paying for. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I realize it's been a while. I apologize. So don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and have a good holiday.